Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Do you love eggplant as much as I do? I think it's such a versatile vegetable. Today we're going to cook it in a Chinese style dish, and as so many Chinese dishes are, we're going to double cook it. We're going to fry it first, and then we're going to steam it, and then we're going to serve it with a deliciously simple tomato chili sauce. I like to use the long slipper or Jap eggplants for this. We just need to trim off the end. Now, if they're quite small, you only need to cut them in half. If they're this size or bigger, I think a quarters is better. So we run the knife down there, and that means when we fry them, and I say brown all sides, we're actually going to go 1, 2, 3. We're actually going to have 3 sides. So let's get that other one trimmed and quartered. Now, in the old days, we used to salt eggplants, especially large eggplants, to debitter them. These days, I think they've been bred so that there isn't much bitter in them. But I still like to salt them for a couple of reasons. One is to season them, because really they're just big sponges, aren't they? So they don't have a lot of flavour on their own, certainly not until they're roasted or cooked. And the other thing is salting them just starts to bring some of that moisture out of them, which means as sponges, they're not going to soak up as much oil. So we just sit them aside even for a few minutes with some salt on them, and then I'm going to pan fry them. Once they're ready, I'm just going to cook off a couple of cloves of garlic in a little oil to make a garlic oil that we can sprinkle over the top. But we'll talk about that at the stove. So we want a good heavy based frying pan over a medium heat, medium high, and we're shallow frying. So you need to cover the base generously. You can add a little more as we go if need be. So we'll start with that, and then in these go one side at a time. Fry them in batches if you need to. I think you'll fit most of them in here. Be careful, that salt is going to make them spit because there's already moisture coming out of them. So there we are, we've got some nice colour there. We'll now flip it over and cook the other cut side. So there they are all turned, and they do just need a little bit of oil. Don't be mean with the oil, you're going to steam it soon, so you won't have a lot of oil left in it, but you need the oil to get that colour. There we go, we'll just give them a minute or so on that final side. And there we go, nice and golden, a little bit crispy, lovely caramelisation. We'll pop them on a rack to drain, and then we'll steam them. So while our eggplant's draining, we can just get our garlic oil ready. Don't heat the oil first. Combine the oil and the garlic, and then pop it over the heat, because it's really only going to take a minute or so. We don't want to burn that garlic. We just want to colour it very lightly and let it infuse into that oil. So as soon as that starts to sizzle, we do want to keep stirring it because we don't want it to burn. And the second it shows just a little bit of colour, we'll take it off the heat because it will keep cooking in the residual heat of that oil as well. There we go. I can smell that. I can see it's just starting to colour around the edges. That's all I want, because as I said, it's going to keep cooking once I take it off the heat, and I don't want it to burn. So now for the steaming part. If you have a bamboo steamer, you're going to use that over a wok. My bamboo steamer recently broke, so I had to get creative, and I discovered that a cake rack in a high-sided frying pan works just as well. So regardless of your steaming device, line your eggplant up on a plate, quite close together, top to tail works well so that they all fit. And we're just going to, yep, still hot, drizzle this garlic oil, the garlic and the oil, over the top. It's not going to be very even, but that's fine. It's going into the steamer, and it's all going into my tummy in the same way. Yum. I love the smell of this garlic oil. It smells like garlic bread. Okay, now I'm going to pour some boiling water in, pop that on the stove, whack the lid on and steam it for 10 minutes. While our eggplant's steaming, the only thing we have left to do is make our tomato chili sauce. It is a real fusion, but it is delicious. We have some soy sauce, we have some oyster sauce, we have some classic Italian tomato pulpa, and we have some of that gorgeous Szechuan chili sauce. All into one saucepan. I'm going to pop this on the stove, really just bring it to the boil. Just heat it through so it's well combined, and then take it off the heat and set it aside. So there we go. Our lovely tomato chili sauce is just coming to the boil. That's all I want. Our eggplant is steaming away beautifully there with our garlic oil. We'll take this off the heat now and wait until the eggplant's ready. So here's our eggplant hot out of the steamer. It does have a little bit of oil on the plate, which I'm just going to drain off before we plate up, because that oil's done its job. So there we go, excess oil drained off. I'm not going to use those tongs because it's too delicate now. I think it's better just to rely on chef's fingers and pop them on the plate. Now you can serve this dish warm or at room temperature. It's just one of those gorgeous dishes that sits around and just gets better over time. That's still a little hot too. There we go. Okay, a little bit of our sauce over the top, and the rest I'm going to serve on the side, because like all, virtually all Asian dishes, we're going to serve this with rice. So that extra sauce is going to be delicious, just poured over your steamed rice as well. A little bit of green onion for flavour and for colour, contrasts nicely with that now caramelised garlic, and a good grind of white pepper. You could use black if you don't have white, but I like white on this. Yum, yum, yum. Could be my new favourite eggplant dish. Steamed eggplant with tomato chili sauce. Enjoy.